Yo, it's Tuesday, so you know what that means. It's time for another episode of Marcus in the Man Cave with your boy Marcus and my co-host with the most, Miss Janelle Mayfield. How's everybody doing today?
Hello. Good evening, everyone. Happy Tuesday.
Happy belated Indigenous Peoples Day, which was yesterday. Yeah, so if we
the only Christopher we acknowledge is Wallace.
Only Christopher we acknowledge is Wallace around here. So thanks for coming in on a Tuesday. We know it's not our normal day, but we're glad you're rocking with us. Because what else could you be doing? I don't think there's really anything on TV right now. So here we are to fill the void. We got Erica back. How you doing, Erica?
Hey.
I'm
good.
Welcome back.
And then we got one of our favorite guests back today for something special. It's a very special day, but we're gonna get to that later. Actually, it was yesterday, but we'll get to that a little bit later. But what's up, Unique?
What's up? Good to be back. Thanks for having me. How y'all doing?
We're glad to have you. So we're gonna go ahead and get started today. And Janelle has a game for us to play. And Janelle, get us started.
Okay, so I don't have a specific name of this game, but I'm going to name two songs, and you have to choose which song you would keep out of the two. Okay, so the first one is How Did You Get Here? Or Stranger in My House. Erica.
I was hoping not to go first. How Did You Get Here? Yeah, I'll pick that one. They're both the same level for me, but if I had to pick one, I hear that note in my head.
It's
first,
when she takes up that next.
Exactly. So I have to go with that one.
Unique, what do you think?
I'm gonna have to second that as well. Both of those are classics, but I'm gonna have to go with How Did You Get Here? Yeah. Timeless.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with I gotta go with Deborah Cox too.
Okay.
I think she's one of the most underrated voices ever to
come
along.
But really?
Yeah, and so I gotta go with
Is that?
What was that?
Okay, so I don't know what the comments said. Y'all gotta read the comments.
We got hey guys from Rated Q Events saying hello. And
that's my brother.
Oh, okay. What's up, fam? Family
Big Brown House.
We like that. And yep, that's it. So keep going.
Okay, so next is Bye 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 or I Want It That Way.
Oh, hold on. Charlotte says, How Did You Get Here? My favorite karaoke song to sing. And that is a fact. I know that for a fact. Isn't it called Nobody's Supposed to Be Here though?
Nobody. No, How Did You Get Here?
I think that's in parentheses. You know how back in the day they had songs?
They couldn't decide, so they put
You're right.
But yes, Bye 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 by NSYNC or I Want It That Way, Backstreet Boys. And this will determine our friendship, by the way.
Wait, say it again. Bye 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 and what else?
I Want It That Way.
I gotta play the songs in my head first so I can determine which one was more of a jam.
Oh, I don't know my answer, boy.
Same. I already know mine too.
Go ahead, Unique.
I'm going with I Want It That Way. Yeah.
Two, Marcus.
Same. That's that song that I hide in the playlist because you just don't want it to come on with all your boys in the car, but y'all all would probably sing anyway. Like that's a good song. That's just a good song.
Eric has a deep thought.
Yeah, I could agree. I guess I'm just picturing the silver outfits. You remember how all those songs back then used to have silver outfits in the music videos? So I guess I can agree with that. You're picking very equal songs, and they're very
that's the purpose. That's
hard. Make it hard, yeah.
Okay, so next I'm gonna do a different one. Okay, so All My Life by Casey and JoJo or Crazy by Casey and JoJo.
It's Crazy.
I got to go all my life.
All my life.
All my life.
All my life.
because everybody's gonna sing along with that. That song means so much to everybody. Like I feel like everybody gonna
And it's
sing.
the intro. It's the piano intro for me.
Yeah.
Undefeated.
Do we have any comments?
I want to say, is it Sade? Is Sade or Sade or something?
Sade?
Yeah. Okay.
That's my fam too.
Oh, that's fam too. They said, "Hey y'all," and what? So the songs were for that was "All My Life" or "Crazy" by Casey and JoJo. Was the one you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So no comments on that one yet. So we got no comments on that one yet. We got 9 people. Thanks for watching tonight, y'all. And go ahead. Yeah, keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Okay, because I gotta keep you. Okay, so old school Mabu
by Ghost Town DJs. Okay.
Shorty Swing My Way.
Ooh.
Oh, Mabu for me.
Ooh.
With Nelly and Kelly.
I gotta go with Shorty Swing My Way. That's my jam.
Shorty Swing My Way.
It's a different type of bop.
I really haven't heard a beat like that since. Like that song is just kind of like unique in its own little way. I don't know.
No pun intended.
Hey. Thanks.
He said,
I gotta go with my boo.
Charlotte says, Shorty, hands down. Hands down.
What?
Shorty Swing My Way, she said hands down. Lula says, I can't choose.
Girl, you gotta choose something.
You gotta choose something.
You gotta choose.
And she doesn't know, but she's coming on the show at some point in November. So we're looking forward to you coming on the show.
Is she?
Is she?
She is.
I couldn't convince her to.
We'll see. We'll see what happens. But no, you got to choose one. We're waiting for you to choose. But that's a pretty good one. All right, you got any more?
I don't know if you. You told me when to stop.
Keep going. We got a little time.
So, 5 Steps by Drew Hill.
Ooh.
5 Steps.
Okay, Erica with the vocals. All right, wait a minute now.
Right?
Wait a minute, Erica.
Oh, bitch.
Oh, I can't sing, honey. I can't. I just faked you out. That's all. I can't sing. I can play.
Or Cry For You.
Something like
Cry For You. Ooh.
What's the song? Cry what?
Cry For You. Both by Drew Hill.
Did I just go through a breakup, or is this just? I think it depends on.
How Cry For You go?
I would have to choose 5 Steps.
5 Steps is a beautiful song.
Cry For You is my jam.
I don't know how Cry For You goes.
Yeah, I'm gonna need some audio, some.
Would cry for you.
We got some comments. Whoa.
You sold me on that one. I'm gonna go with Cry For You.
I don't.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with 5 Steps.
5 Steps for me too.
But some comments. Rated Q says My Boo. It would go for My Boo over Shawty Swing My Way. Sade, you said it was Sade, right?
Sade
says Shawty Swing My Way too. Lula says Cry For You. Okay. I don't know. That's a tough one. I wouldn't.
You said 5 Steps.
I know, but now I'm thinking about it. Like, if it was like one song got deleted, if you chose the other song, like I would have a hard time with this. Like a super hard time with this.
They both are. Okay, can I do 1 or 2 more?
Charlotte says Marcus is fake and 5 Steps is his jam. Yes, I am known when the Henny gets started. Anyway, keep going. Let's do 2 more.
Okay, so Confessions by Usher.
Ooh.
Confessions.
Or Burn by Usher. I took time creating this list. I also stole it from an Instagram page.
Which part?
The whole song.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Which part?
Burn. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I feel like Burn was a subliminal message about him being nasty.
Oh, here we go.
He did ruin that song. You're right.
Here we go.
You know what? That was gonna be my pick.
What's her name? Quanisha?
I think I'm gonna have to go with the other pick now by default.
Yeah, she done messed that up for me.
Confession.
Yeah.
All right, last one. I Need a Girl Part 1 or I Need a Girl Part 2.
No difference, I don't think.
There's 2 completely different songs.
I Need a Girl.
Wait. Yeah, which one is that?
Yeah.
And then there's one with Usher, and there's one with Genuine. There's 2 different ones.
Really?
Yes. There are 2 different I Need a Girls.
The only one that comes to mind is the Usher one for me.
Yeah.
If you're thinking of the one where they're dancing with the Timbs on in the video, yes. Well.
Toya says, "Hey Toya, thanks for coming." She says, "Part 2 easy."
Yeah, I'm just gonna say the Usher one is because I know Usher. I like Usher better than Genuine, just because his catalog is longer.
But I have one more, but I feel like it's not.
Aaron Dudley, hey, what's up, man? He says that he chooses Confessions. He chooses Confessions over Let It Burn. So
I have.
Oh, go ahead.
Those are
Cranes in the Sky or Broken Clocks.
Cranes in the Sky. That was one of my favorite albums. That whole On See the Table.
Bro, I wore that album out.
I have like a pen of it somewhere around here too. That's one of my favorite, most like reflective. Like I love that.
It's amazing to be a Black woman.
Mm-hmm.
Rated Q Event says Part 2. Charlotte says
Sky.
Cranes. Lula says Cranes in the Sky, but she still hasn't answered the other one, so we shouldn't have read your answer then. But nah, come on back with that answer. We still waiting on you. But
you know how you know these are all hits though, because we can like sing the songs right away. Like all the things in our head, we know those songs. So that's great.
That's all I have.
Cranes in the Sky.
A pat on the back. I have a good list.
You did. You can be the DJ of the show.
So I have like this annoying little fly in here right now that's like flying right. So if y'all see me looking crazy, it's like it's playing with me because it don't want me to get like real like karate on them real quick, but it's gonna happen. So y'all just stay out for that.
I lost earlier when I had a bug in my house.
Sade says burn with his burning ass. Lula says love it. Toya says I recant my choice. I can't decide. And Ricky says what's up, y'all. So yeah.
Greetings and salutations.
Yeah, we you got one more? You got one more?
No,
that was it?
All I have?
That's all you have? Oh, okay. Well, that was fun. We should do that with some more stuff. We should do that with like Thanksgiving food. When Thanksgiving comes up. Like what food would you take off the table? Cuz
That would.
All right, so let's get into the show. Y'all. We got Unique here. We got Unique here for a reason. Because yesterday, I believe, was Toya says these questions were stressful.
They were.
We ain't trying to stress y'all out. We just trying to have fun. Yesterday was a very special day. It was National Coming Out Day. And so it was just happened to land on the same day as Indigenous Peoples Day. But we have Unique here, and he's going to tell us a little bit about his experience as a Black man and someone who is in the LGBTQ community. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to you. Go ahead, Unique.
I appreciate that. Thanks again for having me. Yeah, so I came out as bisexual in 2015. And probably like what led up to that was a few years before then. My brother was married to his wife at the time, and this was probably like 2010 to 2011, and they were having like issues within their relationship. And one day they had gotten into like this big argument at my grandmother's house, and then like she outed him and was like, "Oh, he's gay," and she kind of like told the whole family. So then it just became like this big thing, and it was just like my brother's 3 years older than me, and he's always been like my big brother and somebody I looked up to. So after that, he like struggled just a lot. Like their relationship ended, and he just kind of struggled with like his sexuality for a while. Just like being outed like that, he didn't have time to really react or, kind of like navigate that, because that's a journey within itself. And then when somebody outs you, it's kind of hard to like, still be yourself and still kind of figure out like how to go on about life. So probably this happened 2010, 2011, and 2015, he was still having issues with it to the point where he was like suicidal. And I was stationed in Germany at the time. So I kind of felt like I felt helpless because I couldn't be like with my brother, or I couldn't like help him through a tough time, and like, him being depressed and him being in a dark space. And, I was like halfway across the world at the time. So for me, I like had a conversation with him, And, you know, I had a conversation with myself as well. And I was kind of like, I don't want to lose my brother to something, you know, something like this. And I also didn't realize like how much it was affecting him. So for me, that was when I made the decision, like, I'm kind of going to come out to show him like it's not the end of the world, and, you know, that you can still be yourself and still, you know, live a good life. And this doesn't like define who you are. So that's what led up to me coming out. And he and I had we were close growing up together because we were 3 years apart. So it was something we always kind of knew. It was just something we didn't really like speak about, because I knew like at a young age, you know, I had never been with any guys prior to coming out, but I knew like at a young age that I had this attraction to the opposite sex. And, you know, as you're growing up and still trying to figure out who you are, you know, especially growing up in like a Black household, it's not really like a thing, or it's not really like an option or something that's talked about. You just, you know, like I grew up with a mother and a father in my household. So it was never something that was like really discussed, or like, you know, on social media wasn't really a thing. So there wasn't like really any representation. So you kind of question like a lot of the feelings you have, and you're like, oh, maybe it's just a phase. But, you know, like I said, I've always had that attraction. It was just something I suppressed and never expressed or talked about. So once I decided like, hey, I'm gonna kind of come out to honor my brother, I started like within my circle. So I called like the people closest to me. It was probably like about 10 people, like the 10 closest people to me, like my best friends, my brother, my mother. And I kind of told them like, you know, I had a conversation with each of them at a different time. It was kind of like, hey, I'm going to come out publicly, and this is why, and this is what I was going to do. And I just felt like if I had that support within my circle, then like me coming out to the world, it's like, I don't really care if there's any like, you know, negative comments or anything like that, because I have like love within my village. And it's like, you know, I felt protected with telling them. So like I would call them up one by one and have that conversation with them. And for the most part, like I got like, you know, positive responses, or people like, you know, we don't care, like we still love you regardless. And I got like a lot of affirmation. But the only person who kind of like within my circle gave me kickback was my mother. And, you know, she and I, that like once I had that conversation with her, our relationship was rocky for a little bit, because she was like, you know, she was like, with your brother, I saw it coming. And she's like, with you, like I never saw it coming. So this is a shock and this is a surprise. And she's like, you know, she was telling me like, that's not who you are. And I'm like, it is. So we like, our relationship was rocky for a little while, because it took her a while to accept it before we got to a good place. And like, for me, the hardest part was accepting it myself. So it kind of hurt when I'm like, you know, in a vulnerable space and I'm talking to the people closest to me, and I just want like their acceptance and like their unconditional love. So yeah, our relationship was kind of rocky for a little bit before we like eventually got to a good space. And then once I like had that conversation with all of them was when I made like a public post and kind of like let the world know this is me coming out.
So not to stop you, but did you have any, like you said, the one person that gave you kickback within that immediate group was your mom. I'm sure that was like super tough, you know, being the person, you know, that raised you and brings you up, you know, to not, you know, have their full support. But did you have any friends that outright just stopped dealing with you because of it or anything like that?
No, I didn't have that experience. Like I was fortunate enough, like, you know, all my friends, you know, didn't really care. And I remember I had a conversation with my best friend Oscar at the time, and he's like a straight guy. And he was probably the person I was most, I guess, nervous about to tell, because like most of the people within my circle was either like family or like female friends. And he was like, you know, like we had been friends like since middle school. So it had been like maybe 10 years at that point, because this was in 2015. So I remember like texting him, and I was like tearing up as I was texting him, because I was like preparing myself for the worst case scenario. Like, oh, I may lose my best friend and I'm not sure how he's going to react. And then I just remember like sending the message, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, I was just like, you know, I don't know what's going to be on the other end of the phone. So that was just like a lot on my anxiety. And then I remember like seeing his response, and I just felt like the hugest sigh of relief, because I like, you know, I sent him this long post and basically explained, and I was just like, all right. And then he responded, and he was basically like, do you think I'm cute? And we kind of like, we just like, like I went from like tearing up to like cracking up laughing. And like, that's just like who he is and our relationship in a nutshell. Like he's, the life of the party, always making people laugh. So that just gave me like the biggest sigh of relief. And then like our relationship, didn't skip a beat. And we've actually got like a lot closer since.
That's amazing, man. I really, first of all, I want to say I appreciate you coming on here and telling this story, because I feel like we overlook the importance in the uniqueness of that situation to people who go through this and feel like they can't tell their story or can't be who they really are. And so for you to come in front of the people that we do have watching tonight, I want to commend you for that. So a round of applause for that alone. So my question for you is, do you feel like we as the Black community make it hard for African Americans, other African Americans, to come out as come out as either gay, bisexual? Like, do we make it hard? Are we getting more accepting, or is it still the same? Do you think it's still the same?
I think we've made progress, but I don't think we do a good enough job with that. Like creating an environment of like just having a safe space to even like just express yourself as a Black man is not something that's like, I feel like common in a lot of households. Like I think about the conversation you and Nubi had on here when y'all were talking about like, he was saying how he's one of the few people in his friend group that tell his friends like, I love you all the time. Even for us to express simple things like that, I feel like within the Black community, it's kind of hard, like, seeking therapy. Like I said, we have a lot of people and like a lot of influential people that kind of help bridge that gap, but it's still like, and social media helps, but it's still somewhat taboo. And like, there's just like this idealistic view of what a Black man should be. So like a lot of times we're placed into this box. So like, it's kind of hard to step outside the norm, which is why I think representation is so important. Even like within the LGBTQ community, like there's this stigma or the stereotype of a gay guy, and there's like, which is like, flamboyant and flashy. And it's like a lot of us aren't like that, and we're represented in so many different ways. But I think people just have this skewed perception of what like we are. And I feel like that also contributes to like people being outcasted because we're looked at like a certain way. And I feel like we can do a better job of being more inclusive. And I feel like having conversations like this on a platform to kind of, show people representation matters, and you can be yourself and still be successful and still have like live a full life. But I think we in the Black community can do a better job. People of color in general, being more accepting. But I feel like, like a lot of people reached out to me when I came out and, was saying like, I'm proud of you, but I'm still in the closet, or I'm scared of how my parents might react or my friends. And a lot of it was people of color. And the main thing they were concerned about was like the people within their circle. And they're like, I don't know if I could ever come out because of that. Like, I don't want to lose my parents' support, or I don't want to lose friends. So.
Okay, definitely. Let me read these comments, and then I got one more question for you, and then I can pass it along to the other guys, see if they got some questions for you. But Amira says, hey, y'all. Ty says, unique is amazing.
Thank you, Ty.
And Lula says, thank you so much for sharing. My question for you, my last question, and I guess Janelle or Erica, if they have questions, do you feel like if you could go back in time, do you think that you came out at the right time and you are satisfied with it, or do you wish you had have said something earlier?
So I think at the time at the time that I came out, like prior to that situation happening with my brother, like it wasn't something I ever like, honestly, before that, I just felt like I was never going to come out. Like, and also part of that was because I haven't had any experience with guys. So it was just like, it's just a thought or a fantasy. Like I knew it was always there and I knew that's always how I felt, but I was just like, I'm going to die with the secret. And then once that situation happened and I came out, and then, like I said, me and my brother became a lot closer, I did kind of feel like beat myself up. Like, this is something I probably should have did like earlier, and just also feeling like a lot more free on the other end after coming out. Like, you know, you feel like a different sense of freedom of like, I get to live my truth. You know what I mean? And I think that was like the most rewarding thing for me, to finally accept myself and just give me a lot more confidence in like other areas of my life, and just not like care as much what people think. So I definitely, like, you know, that's probably something I look back on, like I should have did it earlier, just one, for the sake of myself, and then for my brother in our relationship. Because like after that happened, we kind of went to therapy. He and I, we had a conversation, and you know, one of the things he expressed to me was like, I feel like, you know, you let me drown like all these years, like kind of watching what I went through, and that you know, that took a toll on me. So
okay, we got a question from a viewer for you, if you don't mind answering. And James White says, "Turn up." So we'll turn up at some point. We'll turn up on the next subject. I promise you that. But Ty Colwell, someone we both know well. She says, "What advice do you have for people who are afraid of coming out?"
I think that you're not alone, and that there are so many people, one, dealing with the things you're dealing with, as far as not feeling comfortable to come out. But there are like a village of people that are here to support you. And like I said, I got like a sense of freedom and just living my truth, and not having to live like a double life, and just like being accepted for me. Like, you know, I've accomplished a lot in my lifetime, and I feel like my accomplishments like since then meant a lot more to me, because it's like I earned those things, and I got them being true to myself. And I feel like that was the most rewarding for me. It's like, not to say things don't count when you're not living your truth, but when you don't get things with integrity, it's like, I don't know, it just hits a little different when you can live your truth. But I'm living proof that it's not the end of the world. I still have like a bunch of people that love me. I have like a lot of people that reached out to me when I did come out. And just like a whole new world of friends, and just opportunities that I wasn't aware of. Like, you know, like I just made so many good connections, and like I said, people reaching out like, oh, I'm dealing with this, and like people I never thought of that were dealing with these things, or like, you know, it just brought me a lot closer to people. And like when I posted that message, like my coming out message, I did have a lot of anxiety, and I was just like, I have to prepare myself for the worst, like hate comments and all that stuff. But it was a lot of love, and a lot of, you know, like I said, people embracing me, and a lot of people reaching out, and it was just like a big sigh of relief. And a lot of anxiety I had was just kind of like, you know, I put a lot on myself. So that you're definitely not alone. And like I said, there's a village of people waiting to embrace you. I'm a resource. I'm always here if someone wants to talk, or, you know, they're not feeling comfortable, or they're trying to figure out how to navigate that. So.
Okay, cool. And Ty said, "Much love to you and your most authentic self." And Rated Q Event says, "Love you so much."
Love you too, bro.
Janelle, Erica.
I was just gonna say that, like, one thing that you're mentioning when you were saying you were growing up and like not seeing like your like being represented, like your not seeing the LGBTQ community represented, like growing up, I'm just like imagining how lonely that must have been. So like, I'm just really appreciative now of the platforms that we have where you can tell your story, and like, it also makes me appreciate more. Like, I know that Marvel's coming out, I think, with a bisexual superhero. Superman is what it is. And I don't know, I think things like that, like just bringing stuff like just in small ways, showing like different like just showing different groups of people and different like arenas like that, whether it's on like cartoons, or whether it's like on at school, or whether it's on TV, like just really opens the door for people not to feel so lonely, you know? Because I can't imagine like being in a family where you're the only person, you're the only person that feels this way, and like looking up in the TV that's you can't see anywhere around you in your community. So I'm glad that we have what we have now. And thank you for sharing your story.
Thanks for having me.
I'm gonna read this comment, then Janelle, go. I'm sorry, it's a long one, so I just want to get it in there. Toya says, "I think our parents and beyond their generation have this fear, you know, being black is already hard enough, and being gay to them is like doubling down on that discrimination. So for them, making you conform feels like protection. Not saying it's right, but that's the experience my uncle had with his coming out. That's a good comment. Never really thought of it that way. Janelle, you go ahead, then I'll let Unique respond to that. Go ahead, Janelle.
I was just curious. Well, first, thank you for sharing, because I know it's not easy to share these parts of our lives and be so transparent. If you don't mind sharing this, what is your relationship like with your mom now?
So our relationship is a lot better. Like I said, when I came out, that was rough, and it took us a while to get to a good place. But I feel like now she's a lot more inclusive. And like, I feel like she even like did her homework on certain things just to kind of make me feel like, you know, I have a safe space where I do want to share things with her. Cause like, you know, even when we got past that initial, like, you know, friction, it was like, I don't necessarily feel comfortable sharing things with you because you kind of shut me down or you kind of like dismissed how I felt. So it's like, I wouldn't share as much with her because it was like, I didn't feel that, like I said, that safe space within our relationship. But, you know, it took some time. And like I said, her, you know, like she said, it took her some time to accept it. And she's like, she just wants some grandkids. And, you know, we kind of laughed and had like a good conversation. But like I said, now we're in a great space. And I gave her a call earlier and kind of told her I was going to be talking about this. And, you know, she was just saying, like, reaffirming that I love you regardless. And, you know, I support you no matter what you do. So she has been my biggest supporter. Like, despite of that, she still is my biggest supporter. So, like I said, our relationship is in a great space now.
I think we lost Erica's camera for a second. So I don't know where she went. But anyway, we're gonna move on. Like I said, thank you for doing this. And we know you didn't have to. It can be, you know, a scary thing coming out, but to do it on such a, I mean, we're not the biggest platform in the world, but the fact that you chose us and trust us with your story means a lot to me. So I appreciate it. I appreciate your friendship, and definitely. Oh, Erica's back. Yeah.
Technical difficulties.
But yeah, I appreciate your friendship. So, are there any last things you want to get off before we move on to the next subject?
I mean, like I said, I just want to reaffirm that I am a resource for like anyone if they feel like, you know, lost or alone. And just to know, like, regardless of what spectrum you fall on like the, you know, the queer spectrum, regardless of whether you're out or out to certain people or some people, I just want to know that you are loved and accepted just the way you are. So don't ever forget that.
Okay. And
I wish I would have got that message like a lot earlier.
Y'all need to follow this man too on social media, man. If y'all not following this man, first of all, if you need a workout, that's the guy to go to. Yeah, man, because he makes me feel ashamed of my body all the time. But he's good. Good resource for your mental health, for your physical health. Like, he's just all around great dude. So definitely follow him if y'all get a chance. Moving on
also, to respond to the comment. What was it about?
The comment about
like they felt like they were protecting you by
not wanting you to be gay because you were already black and that was already a strike against you in society, basically.
Right. So yeah, my response is that, like, I posted this on my story as well. I'm like, you know, your kids are going to grow up to be who they are, not who you want them to be. So there's only so much that you can like try to shield them or protect them from, but eventually they're going to be who they're going to be. And I think it's better to just kind of give them a safe space to, you know, be who they are. Cause like I said, I didn't get that with my mother. So like, you know, although you may think you're protecting someone, you could be like potentially burning bridges with your kid by like thinking you're shielding them from something, and they just kind of want you and, you know, someone that they trust the most to be an outlet. And, you know, you think you're doing justice by like protecting them. So.
I have one more question.
Go.
Do you feel like, I don't know, when you were talking about your brother and you were saying how like your brother felt alone, he wished you would have come out earlier, something along those lines. Like, do you feel like you've like forgiven yourself for that? Like, do you feel like do you blame yourself for that still?
I wouldn't say I blame myself for it still, but
Like, have you like seek the healing for that?
You said, how about what?
Like, seek healing for that? Are you like in the process of healing, or have you healed from that? Do you think?
I don't know if I'm completely healed from it, but I mean, I guess I have mixed feelings on it, in a sense, because for me, like, there is part of me that does feel guilt, but there's also like me coming out doesn't necessarily like stop certain things from happening to you on your journey as well. So yeah, I guess I have mixed feelings on it.
Yeah.
And
That's cool.
that's
I
real.
get that.
That's real. But the fact that you can admit that you haven't healed, I feel like if more men did that, no matter where they fall on the line, society would be in a lot better place if people could identify that in themselves. So on to our next subject. About maybe 2 weeks now ago, maybe less than that, Dave Chappelle released the Closer on Netflix, which is the last in his run of Netflix shows, and I think everybody here has watched it. And so Erica brought it to our attention that she had watched it. So we're gonna let Erica tell us: did you like it, or are you a little tired of old Dave Chappelle?
So I did like the show, but I feel like when I say I like Dave Chappelle, because especially with this show, like with this last like set of his Netflix stand up, I feel like I feel like it's almost like a curse word. It's constantly I should be hiding, like, because he really went for it. Like, he went for every single group throughout the entire, from the very first 20, he gave us like the very first 20 minutes were loaded. Like, I'm like, we only 20 minutes, and he done said everything. Like, what else is there to say? He did not let up through the entire thing. I did like it. I like dark comedy. I know that there was a lot of pushback from the LGBTQ community on some of his comments that he made. And I was saying earlier, like, I never want to close my ear to like oppressed people. I want to always keep my ear open. Like, even if I don't understand why someone is offended, why someone is hurt, I don't think we should close our ear to that ever. But I really like the stand up, and it was fun. I thought it was funny throughout. He came at every single group throughout the entire thing, and it was typical Dave Chappelle. And I feel like a lot of times with comedians, you have to understand, like, they're telling like their view of society. Like, this is Dave's view of society through his comedian eyes, So it was what I expected of Dave. And it's actually I've followed Dave for a long time. It's actually a lot of growth, because he was a lot worse when he was younger. He's a lot worse a couple years ago. And I feel like he's gotten better and better. Like, even with the way he closed it by saying that he's not going to tell these jokes anymore unless he knows that the community is laughing with him and not them being laughed at. So I thought I saw growth. He was ignorant as hell, but I expected that of him. So yeah, those are my thoughts.
Janelle.
What do I eat talking about? Also, I enjoyed it as well. I am a huge Dave Chappelle fan. I've been a Dave Chappelle fan for a very long time. But it's funny, Erica, that you mentioned that, like, saying that is almost like a cuss word, because I feel like
I feel ashamed that I love him so much.
Like, almost anyone. Like, I feel like in 2 weeks now, there's someone that I love that I'm like, oops, I shouldn't like them. Like, I feel like that's just the world we live in now. Do I feel that the LGBTQ plus community has a reason to be upset? Of course I do. He definitely went way beyond the lines with no apologies. But at the same time, I was just waiting for someone to be like, yeah, man, and he kept calling black women black bitches.
Right. Or that he said he beat up a black woman in the club, or a woman in the club.
Right. I was just like, I understand, but that was part of the stand-up. There were so many other things he was saying, so many other people he was attacking. Granted, the LGBTQ, specifically transgender, was like his target. But I was just like, Dave Chappelle has been calling black women black bitches since he was like 3 pounds, begging people to let him speak on the street.
He calls the Journal Truth a black bitch. Like, what?
And I just feel like if y'all want to kill him now, it's not black behind, because this is the divide comes. And honestly, this is what he was talking about in the midst of doing exactly what everyone thought he was going to do. And one other thing I had mentioned, but I don't think I said to you all, was that I think majority of people that came out the very next day and said that they were going to cancel him didn't even watch it. Because number one, I don't believe y'all gave him those views. Y'all ain't stupid. I don't believe y'all gave him those views. Second of all, I just feel like cancel culture is just wild to me. How we just pick and choose certain people and we just say, you know what, you don't matter anymore. Like, your whole everything should just crumble. When there are horrific people walking this earth right now that people will praise and love just because they personally have like whatever connection to them, I just feel like I'm just gonna mind my business and like what I like privately. Y'all ain't gonna cancel me.
So, Unique, being that you're part of the community, what did you feel about Dave Chappelle?
So overall, I did like the special. My short answer is I don't think we should cancel Dave Chappelle. Like she mentioned, like I feel like some people deserve to be canceled, but I feel like Janelle mentioned, you know, when you cancel someone, you kind of throw them. It's like you're throwing this person out, and there's not like you don't give them an opportunity to have a dialogue, or like you said, Erica, where you know I want to hear the oppressed person's other side. So it's like there's no room for growth if we're just like, oh, you know, every time someone says something we don't like, we cancel them. That's like we're not going to make any progress as a race or just like as a community if that's the solution. But like I said, some people be doing some wild shit and they need to be canceled. Like, but as far as Dave Chappelle, I did enjoy the special. I take like comedy, like I guess with a grain of salt, so I wasn't like personally offended, even though he was attacking the community. Just because that's kind of who Dave Chappelle's been. If you follow him, like this is like the third or fourth special where he attacked like the trans, the LGBTQ community. So it wasn't anything new. I guess the only thing that like I feel like he was misguided with was the message, which I felt like was the whole like kind of consensus was like. And, you know, he even mentioned it, like, I'm jealous of the amount of progress the LGBTQ community has made in comparison to, like, the civil rights movement or, like, Black people in general, just because we deal with so many things. And it's always, like, whiteness trumps as far as, like, you know, any issues they have. And, you know, like you said, it did kind of solidify his point when the only thing we're talking about when he offended so many different groups of people are the LGBTQ community. But he almost made it seem like the LGBTQ was, like, exclusively white, like, you have your gay, white, like trans issues and Black people are dealing with real shit over here. So this is kind of my justification to be like transphobic, homophobic, like, et cetera. But it's like you have Black people within the LGBTQ community who are dealing with Black issues as well as like LGBTQ like issues. So I feel like that's where I feel like he missed the mark, like with the comedy. But other than that, I took it with a grain of salt. It's Dave Chappelle. But I don't think we should cancel him as comedy.
I kind of agree. I don't think we need to cancel Dave Chappelle. I think Dave Chappelle is Dave Chappelle, and I think in the midst of, I don't really feel like these comedy specials were comedy specials. Like that's just the way I feel like it was a critique on society as a whole, and with comedy laced into it. I think. I mean, I do feel like, all right, dude, this is your third special talking about this issue. Like, all right, you've said what you needed to say, let it go. But at the same time, it's like there was some validity to some of what he was saying. I do feel like he needs to switch the material now. But I don't think he's so much of a comedian anymore. Like I think he's kind of evolved past the point of comedy, and it's like he's just socially aware at this point and can tell a story. Yeah. And it's the way he tells a story.
Yeah.
He's an entertainer.
Yeah, he knows how to tell a story. And he gets people to think. Like, and I think that's the best part about it. While everybody's raging against him, oh, he shouldn't say this, he shouldn't say that. But my question is, if no one says anything, like, how do we learn from each other? Like we can't ever learn, we can't grow with each other if we're afraid to ask questions or, you know, look at society and say, I don't understand this, or is this the way things should be? So I get very tired of people automatically wanting to cancel people, and without
what?
And my biggest, I hate when people, oh, he hurt my feelings. If you ain't had your feelings hurt in a life, like, come on, like you're gonna get offended in your life. You are. But is your offense like my dad used to tell me, are you offended because they said something that wasn't true, or are you offended because they said some truth that you didn't want to hear? Like, I feel like we just want to protect people from any kind of criticism in society now, and I think Dave Chappelle is one of the few people that can criticize and do it well in a way that's maybe not palatable for everybody, but it'll still make everybody think. So, I hope whatever he does next will, like he said, have everybody laughing with him. But if not, it's Dave Chappelle, and Dave Chappelle can do what Dave Chappelle wants to do. Janelle.
The one.
You know what's funny, and I could be incorrect, but everyone's saying, not everyone, but people are saying to cancel this, remove this from Netflix. And Netflix already came out and said, "Look, we got the money, we're rich, be quiet." but what I was just thinking about was Trevor and I watch Kings of Comedy on Netflix.
Exactly.
Maybe so. And I'm just like, y'all want to cancel this? Watch Kings of Comedy. When
Bernie Mac would have never made it.
Never
made it.
Bernie Mac is different.
You want to talk about
him downstairs?
Whoa, like y'all are going. Dave Chappelle is nothing compared to what they were saying back in the time. So I just feel like y'all really are just picking and choosing. If y'all want to cancel this whole thing, do it from the top to the bottom. Like tell them every.
Is Cat Williams on Netflix?
Is Cat Williams on anything?
I think he was. I don't know if he's still on there, but his special was on there at one point, I believe.
So they pick and choose going to be outraged about, because Cat Williams is something else. So
yeah, well, no, you just.
But I also feel like then, I mean, and I know this isn't as harmful, but it could be. Then remove all the different comedians that make fun of skinny girls or make fun of fat people. Like we got to remove everything. We got to get rid of all. We just need to be gray. Everyone look the same, and we just all be sad.
I feel like if someone's gonna be like, if we're gonna be like, Dave Chappelle's a good comedian for this house conversation about, because he's open to learning and he's open to like changing. Like, okay, I was wrong about this. Like, some comedians be so like stuck in their ego or stuck in like their like in their celebrity that they can't admit when they're wrong and they can't try to grow. I feel like Dave Chappelle has showed us that he is maybe not as fast as we would like, but he's shown us growth through his comedy. I think so.
I will appreciate
no.
I don't
even like what. Go ahead.
I don't know, but I say I will appreciate a comedian like Dave Chappelle and what he's doing far more than I appreciate that lackluster crap that Kevin Hart put out during the pandemic. Like, like Kevin Hart. I mean, look, he get in the bag. I give him that, but that's his special. But now he's palatable to you know who. And he's getting that money and everything. So now I think his comedy has kind of followed suit, and it's kind of the samey.
Show.
What?
What is that?
Have you watched his little like late night talk show?
His show's good. I like his talk show.
Really good.
I
It's almost like his interviews more than his comedy, though.
Yeah, but I feel like it's because he's talking to his friends and they get to be their authentic selves. So he ends up going back to being comfortable and being like that funny that we like. But outside of that, I don't watch none of his stuff. But
I've always liked Kevin. I think he's a funny guy. Like, he's just a funny person. Like, he's just naturally funny. I haven't always liked his like structured stand up. Like, I always think that's funny. But like, just talking to Kevin is hilarious. He's funny. Like, all his interviews and stuff.
I love.
Yeah, he had a good stand up in a while. Like you said, he's like appealing to a different demographic now. So I'm not checking for any of his specials. They don't hit the same.
But I mean, he knows what it feels like to be canceled, because he didn't get to host the Oscars because of some stuff that was said. So I feel like
that's your wife.
Yeah.
You said what?
That's what happens when you cheat on your wife. Karma works greater than anybody.
Tips tea.
Be good to a woman. A
black
woman
especially. I don't think it had anything to do with what. That was just Karma saying, "Okay, I'm gonna handle you. You pregnant? Okay, I'm gonna handle you."
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna get into that one.
I agree.
Maybe that's a ladies' night issue. I'm gonna leave that one alone. So speaking of that, we're gonna roll right into number 3, because this one was if you are a football fan or you know somebody who is a football fan, this was like a shocker, and everything kind of goes together in this episode tonight. Lula says, "Yup, Janelle." So she's with you. She's with you on that. But this was kind of a shocker. So, the Las Vegas Raiders have been having a decent start to their football year, and with their head coach John Gruden. Well, a racist email leaked in which he called another player. He said some derogatory comments about another player, and his lips. Mama Pam, if you're still watching, I saw you slip in here for a while. I heard you laughed at it, but but
I'm sorry. She gonna text me. I'm sorry.
he said that, and so he released a statement, kind of getting ahead of it, saying that that he didn't mean to hurt anybody, but he also said a very funny statement. And at the time when I heard it, I was like, something's about to happen. He said, he was like, I may have said some more things, and for that I apologize too. So I was like, you may have said some more. So I was like, you trying to beat something. Turns out, man, yesterday, an informant gave a bunch of emails to the New York Times, and this man was just saying homophobic stuff, transphobic stuff, just racist stuff. And
I might have said some other things.
So he said, so Monday morning, he looked like he was out of the storm and everything, and everybody, Mama Pam said, I did, but that was terrible. It's okay, we forgive you. We forgive you. But yeah, so Monday morning he was sounding good. He was like, thinking that he had made it through the storm and whatnot. 6 hours later, the man had to resign because it got so bad. And it's just crazy because you're in a locker room full of black men. Basically, the league is made up of 70% black men, and the first openly gay player is in your locker room. Like, it's like, and you saying all this stuff. Now, their first email did happen in 2011, so that was 10 years ago. But he was what? He was 48 at the time. So I mean, he was a grown man. Ain't like he was some young kid. So I think it's really telling that the league, and he's in trouble with the person that was a Washington Redskins executive too, Washington football team, executive, who was involved in this, texting topless pictures of the cheerleaders to him and stuff. It was just bad, y'all, and it's
just ratchet.
It's just
over.
bad.
They are racist ratchet,
and it's just crazy to me that they're letting players put in racism on their helmets, on the end zone. They got a whole black music lineup for the Super Bowl, and yet here y'all are firing, y'all letting these people get away with this. But the other part is, now what do you do about your halftime show? Because some of them artists have said some very derogatory things in their music. So I think the NFL is in a mess right now, and so Janelle, I know Trevor is big into the football and the sports. How's Trevor been reacting to this?
So about me and Trevor had this conversation. I don't support the NFL. I stopped supporting the NFL a very long time ago, and I meant what I said. I said I will never support the NFL ever again, and I don't. And me and him actually had a conversation. He was like, am I like harming the community by still watching? And I told him, I was like, I feel like there's enough people in the village that have set down their foot and said, hey, like, we're going to stand up against this, and you can support and still like what you like. I don't think it's fair to tell people you shouldn't like something because everybody else doesn't like it. But me and him talked about it, like we both said, like, he's done. Like, I'm not even. You said you were shocked, Marcus. Shocked at what? White folk being white? Like,
I wasn't shocked in that sense. I was shocked that he just didn't resign because he knew what was coming. That's what shocked me.
I love about confident racist people. I love a confident racist person because I feel like you better stand in your racism. Don't sweat. Don't stand for the lights. Nah. You better stand in who you are and be like, I don't get what I did wrong, because you really, really are in it. And that's what kills me about these fake, like, oh, I'm so sorry. Like, I shouldn't have said that. Like, I need to check myself. No, boo-boo.
Yeah, you know what you said.
He even knew it was probably going to be more. And then he was like, I'm just going to walk out. Like, y'all fire me. Y'all can't cancel me. Y'all can't do nothing. He technically won. So I just feel like
Bria agrees with you.
I'm pretty sure every single person up in that office has all done or said the same thing.
I bet,
Exactly.
man, they turning them servers over. They scripting them things. They running magnets over those computers. But hey, I got a question for Unique.
What's up?
So you see this, you see how people really are. You know, this is what they're really talking about behind closed doors. My question is, are people allowed to, and not in his case because he's just wrong and he's too old to act like this, but are people allowed to grow? So here's my question. So you got somebody who's maybe like, because they went back 10 years on her. So how old am I now? Okay, so 10 years ago, I would have been 18. And say I would have said something, you know, homophobic or transphobic or something. I'm 28 years old. I'm going for a job interview. I get a job. Then they look at something I posted at 18 that was, you know, like that. And is someone allowed to grow and mature and say, you know, that's not me anymore? Or if they do that, are they automatically they should be just automatically canceled?
Short answer is yes. People are allowed to grow. People are allowed to change. I know, like, them Facebook memories I'll be looking at from like 10 years ago, stuff I was posting. I'll be like, what? Why wasn't the people around me saying nothing? Why was I posting this? So I don't think, like, I definitely think there's room for growth, but that man is how old? What is he in his 50s now?
He's 50s. Yeah.
He ain't got that much time left. Like, I feel like certain people could get a pass, but I feel like he's at that age where he's stuck in his ways. Like, it's not. And then even like the way, like you said, he tried to get ahead of it. It doesn't seem like he's remorseful. It's just like, I said what I said, and it might be some more shit that y'all don't even know about. And I'm gonna get up out of here.
I aspire to be able to be like.
He might find more. I don't know.
Right. Like, I feel like especially the older generation, or like with older people in general, it's just kind of hard to like change their. Like, a lot of them are just stuck in their ways for life, like the older generation with just a lot of their views. So I think, not to put an age limit on like someone being able to change, but I don't think there's much hope for him. And like I said, I don't think he genuinely wants to change. It's like, I've been this way for 10 years. I was a grown ass adult, and now it's just I got caught. But there is no remorse, or there's like not me wanting to change. It's like, damn, I got caught. And then the other issue I had when I was like reading the article is like, he's been talking to players and like, you know, other people in the league, like you said, since that initial email came out. So it's been 10 years at least that we know of him kind of like displaying this behavior. And that's why I think it's so important, like, for people to speak up and not be complacent or like compliant and like, or be silent when shit is going on like that. When you hear people making like homophobic comments, or you hear people making like racist comments, especially for someone who, you know, maybe there's someone in the room who's in the closet and someone makes a gay joke and no one like says anything or speaks up, then it's like, damn, I don't feel comfortable talking to any of these people because he just made like a gay joke and no one in the room said nothing. So now I don't feel even comfortable on my team, or just like, you know, being like silent as far as like with any kind of joke. It kind of gives like, sets the tone in the culture, like this is okay. So no, I don't think there's any hope for him. I think he got what he deserved, and he got some more shit on the way apparently too that we don't even know about. So he's canceled.
Cool. We're gonna
get him out of here.
We're gonna come to Erica, but let me just tell y'all, this man signed in 2018. He signed a 10-year, $100 million contract.
Bag.
And promising Super Bowls that he ain't gonna deliver.
For racism, and you gonna have the audacity to send these emails on your professional email?
But and to me that says if you can send that on your professional email in the National Football League, that just goes to, and a lot of this too happened when he was no longer a football coach, when he was at ESPN. So a lot of these emails happened during that time when he was no longer a football coach. But the fact that you can send that stuff to another NFL executive and everything shows the state of where the NFL is, and what they allow. Toya said he's racist, not smart, sis. Exactly. And this man is the man who was quoted as saying, and I quote, "I don't have a racist bone in my body." This man said this. He said that.
Well, then you got some racist organs if it ain't no bones in there. But
right, the blood is
full of racism.
Your blood racist. Tongue is racist. Tongue is racist. Like, so
And you know what? Maybe he really thought he wasn't being racist talking about that man's lips. Maybe he really didn't think. But even if you
what
don't,
did he say?
He's in football. It's all black.
Janelle, what did he say about the lips?
I know exactly what he said. I know it was racist. I'm saying
I'm just trying to tell the listeners what he said about his.
Why are you trying to make this funny? He said they look like. Yo, he cooked this man. It's not okay. Tires, and I happened to.
What?
He said what?
They look like 2 Michelin tires. And I Googled the person he was talking about, and y'all.
I gotta Google him.
This was like, oh, we were talking crap at the table, and it's 2 black people. He won. Besides that, no, sir.
He said his
No.
lips look like 2 Michelin
I really
tires.
wish that like someone would to beat them up. I wish that like one black person was allowed to just fight all these people, and it was a black person that could never lose. That would make me feel so good.
Toya says, next he's gonna say is I have a black friend. And that's the crazy part. Why are we always so I love when people offend us and then they try to use us as the scapegoat for offending us. Like we're not all
And he ain't got no lips too on top of that. So he's just jealous.
He ain't got no lips.
You know.
But
That's why he talking stuff.
That always makes me I got a black friend for first of all, what your friend allows ain't what I allow. Like I don't care. We're not all the same. We're not some little microcosm. We don't all think alike. And that makes me mad. Like I had a friend, well, he wasn't a friend, but a white guy told me, "Oh, where I come from, the black guys wear Confederate flag shirts too."
Oh, what?
Well, that's
honey,
nice.
and honey, we don't claim them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
like 5.
Yeah. So does your character change depending on who you're around? Like, does it just
exactly?
But that's how
crew?
One person does it. It's like, well, I feel like 7 billion of all y'all run around with Confederate flags. No, sir, there's like 39.
Yeah, and they're all cousins.
Right.
Don't kill me.
Exactly. But Erica, same question. Do you think and to add on to that question, like when do you think is the cutoff for when we can't we don't let people grow anymore, when it's just like you're done, like you getting canceled because you say wild stuff?
I don't think we could ever put like a time limit on someone's growth. But I just think that like what I was saying a second ago, like your character follows you in private and in public, right? So like this man was exposed to black. It's not like he's like in some like small all white town in Illinois. Like he's not in some like in Centerville, Illinois. Like he's in football. There's all black men around him. He knew.
Right.
He knew what he was saying. Like he's not exposed. It's not like he wasn't exposed. Like he knew what he was saying. And again, he didn't really apologize. Like his apology was fake. So I think that like yeah, you can change, but like. I don't think this man changed. I think that's going to show in like, I think when you change, it shows in like trends. I think everyone operates in trends. Like, I feel like 10 years ago, he was 40 years old and he'd been, how long he'd been in football? He didn't know that talking about somebody's lips is racist. He didn't know like the homophobic slurs were like not okay. You know, like I grew up like, in Chicago as a kid. I remember growing up and hearing different like racist slurs and stuff as a kid and not really knowing like how like the gravity of what it was as a child. But when I got older and I realized what I was saying, the gravity and who it hurts and like what that says about my character, I stopped using it in private and in public. You're not gonna catch me 5 years ago. I was 24 5 years ago? I was a grown woman, but I was young. You're not gonna catch a tape on me saying something crazy. When I was a grown woman, I understood the gravity of my words. I understood like what it meant to like walk in integrity when I speak to people in private and in public. So yeah.
Toya says no one claims Uncle Ruckus. So, you're right. So if we do give people chances to change, chances to grow and whatnot, what are we looking for them to prove that? Like, is there a certain like thing we can measure and say, yeah, they might be different now, they think better now, or do we just say once you done with me, like you don't get a chance to come back?
I think it depends on the individual. I think it's hard to say, to give it a rule.
Yeah, I think for me, my like ground rule is like change behavior is the best apology. Like you can release a statement, you can talk all day, but it's like how you carry yourself or your actions that really like show me like that you're trying to make a change. Because your PR could write a statement and you can go back to doing the same shit you've been doing, but it's how you carry yourself ultimately for me that like, all right, this person is actually changing or they're taking steps action wise to better themselves.
Yeah.
I think that's,
and this could change them.
Go ahead.
losing all this money could change him. I think that like if we want to know if he changed or not, we can look now and see it losing this bag. Did you like have to do some self reflection?
But he ain't losing much.
Probably not. But
a
I'm
lot
saying,
on his
like,
contract.
Sometimes extreme moments of like, what did you say, Marcus?
So a lot on his contract. See, this is the beauty about coaching and playing in leagues like this. You have what's called a guarantee. Like you're guaranteed to make a certain amount of money. There's things that can affect the guarantee, like stopping early on your contract or not performing the way they wanted to. But a lot of times they'll say you have $100 million contract and 30 to 40 million of that is guaranteed. Like no matter what happens, we have to pay you this amount, and then the rest of it is like your performance based pay. So he ain't poor by any means. Like he's not gonna be poor. But what you were talking about, like you're not gonna catch you, Erica. You were saying, you're not gonna catch you saying anything ridiculous or reckless. Because you
I didn't say anything ridiculous or reckless.
Anything like on that level. But... Yeah. let's not dig up yours. Let's not dig it up. But I think the reason that is because these people, like John Gruden comes from a football family. He's never been broke. Like when you don't have any consequences for what you say whatever you want to say. Like you don't have to think about any consequences.
Saying whatever they want to say too.
You said what?
There's some real poor racist people saying whatever they want to say too. But sometimes I wonder
that's because they ain't got nothing to lose. You ain't got nothing to lose.
Oh, you froze.
You ain't got nothing to lose, and I think that's what we saw happen with Trump. A lot of poor people saying whatever they wanted to say. They already ain't got nothing to lose, and I think that's why he was able to amass them and get them to like vote for him so well, because he made them feel like, I mean, what else you got? You can say what you want. You don't got to go with these.
The black folk. I was right.
Yeah, the black folk. There's my black guy over there. But I think the NFL has a real problem. Well, they've had a real problem, but I think that they're trying to put Band-Aids over bullet wounds with halftime shows, and that's not going to do it. Because
that's a Band-Aid.
Had someone caught him saying something like that and punched him in the mouth, like a player punched him in the mouth and said something, then the player would be in trouble instead of the coach. So,
and I think like keep punishing these people, but like we need a culture change. I feel like it's never, because these are just people. These are just people from our culture that are in these positions. Like I think that like as time goes on, if we keep punishing people, then maybe like things will change. But like they're just regular people. Like, these white men are white men in their regular lives. Not just white men with titles.
It's time to hire black coaches.
Even
there needs to be like internal change. Like
as long as they not vicious.
People need to be held accountable. Not 10 years later when they've done so much damage, and now people are coming out the woodworks like, oh well, he did this to me. Oh, he did this to me too. But like, speak up when it happens, or the people that's in the rooms and not saying shit. It's like that enables them to feel like, you know what? Yeah. I've been saying this for 10 years. I'm not gonna stop now. Like,
can I say something?
If you say something about Bishop Sycamore, I'm
Okay. So I haven't seen many players speak out about what happened with John Gruden, but the other coach, I can't remember, the guy that was caught cheating on his wife. Maurice, you know who I'm talking about?
Yeah.
He was caught cheating on his wife. He had some young girl twerking on him, and all the players are like, "You have to regain our trust."
Yeah.
So John Gruden, like what he did, okay, he's gone. The end. But y'all are all worried about this man cheating on his wife. That you ain't going to lay in bed with him at night. Like, I don't understand how the players don't. I don't get that. I just don't understand how there's no more uproar about the fact that I was being led by someone that literally couldn't stand the sight of the color of my skin. I'm so confused.
Well, Keyshawn Johnson did come out and he played for him and basically say, yeah, you've been a fraud your whole career. Which, it's funny, he was talking so bad about black people, but yet he owes his success off the back of a black man who coached that team the year before him and built that defense, and then they fire him and bring in him, and you win a Super Bowl with that team. And the fact, it really disappointed me that Tony Dungy, before he saw the second set of emails, defended him. I was like, this is the man that took your job, led your team to the Super Bowl the next year that you built, and you defended him. And then 10 minutes later, he had to resign because it's a more, like, now you just look bad. Like, why would you attach yourself to that burning ship? Like, I don't get it. But I haven't seen him
on national television. When I saw Randy Moss crying, that's when I actually was like, okay, this is a serious problem. Randy Moss is like the only reason I would ever care about the NFL.
Yeah.
He's crying because of what this man said. And Randy Moss is like, if you don't know, he's a gem. Like, he is very, very honored. Like, he is, to me, the greatest NFL player ever. And you have him crying on national television. He said, like, y'all took my civil rights from me because of the color of my skin. And he just starts bawling. And everyone sitting next to him starts crying because it's like, when are y'all gonna be tired of being racist?
They ain't.
Agreed. But I don't it's just, I just feel like some people are just conditioned like that. That's who they are. And we need to stop pretending that they're not. And the NFL's not really doing anything about it. They're protecting the status quo. As long as the pocketbooks are good, that's what they're going for. But I'm telling you now, I think there's going to be a big rush of hiring black coaches. Because if not, I think the NFL Players Association is finally getting tired enough to actually do something. So hopefully something changes. But I'm not counting on it, and that's why the NBA is in such better shape than the NFL right now.
Go Bulls.
Yay!
Go Bulls.
Yes, go Bulls.
Oh, okay.
Chicago.
Well,
I forgot.
But you know, Chicago might be okay this year.
No, they won't.
They will be.
They won't.
What?
They won't.
Y'all not gonna.
Wait, well, who do you? Well, y'all don't have a team in St. Louis.
I'm not a St. Louis. I don't.
So how you gonna?
I ain't no St. Louis.
How you gonna hate from outside the club?
Nah, I'm a Spurs fan, and hopefully they will turn around.
Oh, what?
You've known this, Janelle. I've watched 5 championships. I'm good. Y'all go win something.
You saying y'all? I don't follow teams. I follow players, and I follow
LeBron James. I follow LeBron.
When
He
he
ain't
leaves,
doing nothing.
I'm done with the NBA.
My guy Rondo.
What'd you say?
I said my guy Rondo. That's who I'm rooting for all the way.
Rondo?
Rondo.
Really?
I'm a Rondo fan.
What makes you a Rondo fan?
I've been a Rondo fan since like high school, and I actually like won a contest to meet him. So I got
really?
yeah.
Did you meet him?
Okay.
Yeah, I won like a contest. It was like in 2011, and then I got flown out to Cali to meet him. So.
Well, you got flued out?
Yeah, really?
You got flued out?
I got flued out.
Was he cool? Was he?
Well, so funny story. He actually he kind of like curved me the first time I met him. Like, so it was me and another girl that won the contest. And I was pissed at my brother because he like deleted the video and we was laughing about it in the hotel the whole time. But I like got flown out there, and then it was called Rebel King of the Rock. And it was like a boat ride we took to Alcatraz, like the famous jail out there. And then they like had a basketball tournament. So we was at like the boarding dock, and we was waiting for like the boat to arrive. So the other girl that won like goes up to Rondo because he's like a few feet away from us, and he's like with his family and stuff, and we're all like waiting. And then like she goes up to him, she introduces herself, and they take a picture. And then she goes back to where she was at. I'm like, all right, cool. Here's my chance. I'm like, I tell my brother to get the camera out. So I'm all happy. I'm like, I'm meeting my favorite player. And I walk over there and I go to introduce myself, and then he's like, "Not right now, with my family." And I'm like,
"That's
I'm gonna see you later." And then I just kind of like walked off. But eventually, I got to meet him at the end of the night in the rep. That was like, dealing with the hotel and all that stuff. Like, she took me to introduce him. We got like a picture, played like basketball, and then it was all good.
Apologize for his mess.
Yeah.
Mm.
Were you as happy the second time too, or were you still like? Are we kind of like?
Hey. Nah, I was like, I had my guard up at that point. I was like, I ain't really.
And you a real loyal fan because you still like him. I would have been like,
right. I would have been on Twitter. His jump shot is trash.
As soon as he get canceled, I'm coming out with my story.
Right, keep it in your back.
Like in 2011, this happened.
Right.
Just so y'all know.
Right.
That's crazy. He'd be on the podium. Yeah, I remember meeting him, but I was a little preoccupied at the time. Just want to extend a heartfelt apology. Well, y'all, we've had a good show tonight. I think it's been a real good show. This is 2 Tuesdays in a row. That's weird. Let's get back to normal. Let's get back to normal. Let's get back to our Mondays. Hopefully that will work out for us. But again, I want to thank our guest Unique for coming on and telling his story, because we definitely need more of that. Need more of that in the community. We need more people like him in the world. I'm convinced if more people like him in the world, it'll be a much more fun place, and people will be a lot more stylish. Go ahead. What you got?
I just wanted to say one thing before I close out. Thanks again for having me. And I just wanted to, like, anyone know, I know I have like a coming out story, but I don't want people within the community to feel like they need to have a like coming out story to be validated. Like, you don't have to tell anyone. You can be comfortable like within your own skin, tell the people you are. I would just say like be true to yourself, regardless of like what form that is. But not everyone needs like a coming out story. I have to let the world know to like feel validated. And I will also just add, it's okay to be yourself, like within, you know, your queerness or however you identify. Like, you don't have to feel the need to be masculine or like feminine. Just be yourself, and however you choose to express yourself, like, just know you're validated and accepted as well. Like,
I like that.
Don't let people box you in. So
I ain't got to say nothing more on that. You said the final word. What I will say is, if you have not done so yet, please follow us on Instagram at Marcus in the Man Cave, Facebook at Marcus in the Man Cave, YouTube at Marcus in the Man Cave. Click like and subscribe on YouTube so you can get all the latest stuff that we put out. With that being said, next week, if all things go well, it'll be the first ever men's night. We
Yep.
No, she said woohoo first. You knew. You know, you can't change now. You said woohoo. Thank you for the support, Erica.
I gotta support my girls.
Right.
No. Wait. So, it'll be the first ever men's night. It'll be just fellas on here. We'll have the 5 box up. We'll be running 5 people at a time. Don't worry about it. It'll be the Man Cave for real next week. You'll see who's on here. You'll see who's on here.
I'm not sure.
Make sure Trevor is in front of the screen on time. But it'll be good. We're gonna talk about ladies. We're gonna talk about what we like and what we don't like and what we think, you know.
What y'all don't like.
Right. We don't talk about men. Have our ladies night.
Oh, we gonna be messy on here. We gonna be messy. We gonna be messy. So
the Dusty
we gotta be in the comments, Janelle. We gotta be in the comments.
No, we're gonna give somebody a Dusty Grape award. Don't worry. But John Gruden got the Dusty Grape today.
That was a given.
Yeah, for the Michelin tire lips, he gets the Dusty Grape award. That's not funny. We shouldn't laugh, but that is dang. But anyway, yep. So that'll be next week. So make sure y'all tune in. Ladies are more than welcome to watch us, but y'all might have a lot to say. So definitely come see that. Unique again. Thanks for being here, Erica. Thanks for being here, Janelle. Thanks for being here. So love the Outcast shirt, by the way. It's my favorite group of all time. Favorite group of all time. So I love that. And with that being said, love each other and be yourselves, like Unique said. Peace.
May the Lord watch.
Don't. Bye, y'all.